Hello, this month is Autism Awareness Month, and I just wanted to discuss about a few of the things that have worked for me, help them regulate their bodies so that they can then learn the strategies or the language techniques that I'm trying to teach, or to incorporate the language that I need to incorporate. Sometimes the little ones are not able to attend to activities because there's a lot going on in their bodies that needs to be addressed first before the learning can happen. And therefore, I'm just going to go really quickly through just a couple of things, a couple of tools. There's a lot of research out there that you can learn from. There's a lot of other strategies that might work for you or for someone else. These are just a little bit of some introductory discussion of what tools you can use to help a child regulate their body and their senses. And this all has to do with the way that they sense their environment, sound. We would call it sensory processing that's happening, and how I don't like to use the medical jargon as much. If you do need that, then that's fine. I like to make things as easy to understand as possible. Therefore, I'm going to call it, or I'm going to address it as their body needs to regulate itself, whether it's through their ears, their eyes, their touch, their smell. So I wore this sweater on purpose today because I wanted to just address it. If a child is very attracted or just overwhelmed, it could be either or by patterns. If I come in and I'm wearing this, sequence of patterns, it could either gravitate towards where they want to touch it, or they want to look at it, or they might want to count it, or or it could be they don't want to see it. They want to be away from me because this pattern is just too overwhelming for their eyes, and their mind is processing the sequences and it's just too loud. I would call it that way, right? Too loud. So therefore, this could be like a stimulus or a stimulation that happens through the eyes, right? I'm just showing this as an example, but let's say you're wearing a perfume, and the perfume can trigger the child as well. The perfume is, it's just, the smell, the sense of smell. Again, I like to say loud just because, when we hear something loud, we automatically want to do this. And that's my way of describing, like the smell is too much. They want it to stop. They might run away. They might throw a punch. Could be the smells that we wear sometimes that could trigger our babies. Therefore, for most clinicians, we are recommended not to wear perfumes that are too loud or too strong because it might trigger something with the baby. Try to use unscented tools to keep your hygiene, of course. And then I just wanted to talk about a couple of things that you can use. Maybe the body needs pressure. So there are some really cool vests that have little weights in them. I don't think you can see it, but they're weighted vests. This is an example. And they wrap around their chest, and then that adds that weight that their body needs to regulate itself. So this, if the child needs pressure in their body, they might recommend for the child to wear a weighted vest. One of the occupational therapists that I worked with once said, well, the vests might be a little bit expensive, but if you don't have a vest, maybe you can add a little backpack with a water bottle, and that would add a little bit of weight to the child's body, and it would help them self-regulate. There's also these amazing, this is a little small sample again, I'm trying to do this through the screen, of a weighted blanket. And this one is full of beans, actually. Whoever made this, I'm not sure. I borrowed it from one of my my mentors that she let me borrow. And this is a weighted blanket. So sometimes, let's see, this would be easy to carry around, right? To put them on their lap and just to add that pressure to their body, and that might soothe them and help them self-regulate, or their body regulate. Weighted blankets are great. Of course, there's weighted blankets for like sleeping that you could use. Make sure that it's not too heavy, though, that the child can pull it off. Of course, you have to think about those precautions as well, that they're not too heavy for the babies. But a weighted blanket could be a great resource. for the kids to help them self-regulate. Then there's also that I go to most of the time, could be like a simple as a puppet. You know, puppets can be such a great resource for the children. Of course, it's a texture. You know, it might feel nice in their fingers, and it might just bring a soothing, calming sensation through their hands, through their, you know, their fingers, or just the fact that they can just push the bubbles, right? The sense of, you know, just the sequence. I mean, again, every brain is different. One thing can work for one little one, another thing can work for another one. But you can try a lot of these things and see if they work for your little one or for the little ones you work with. Stress balls, you know, these can be squeezed. You can throw them and they won't hurt anyone. This could be a great resource as well. The stress balls that are very soft and almost like foamy, scrunchy. There's also the poppet or the pop tubes that you can use, right? Now, this could be either triggering or not, but it could also be soothing just to play with it. Or you've seen my videos. You've seen that I put little pom-pom balls inside and blow them out. And just the fact that we're doing that kind of also brings the child some excitement, and it's self-soothing, and they're, you know, we're putting them back in to work on language. But they could also be soothing, you know, they just to put them back together, right? For some people, or for some other kiddos, it might be annoying. The sound might be overbearing and they might not like it. So if you're a clinician and you keep using this and the child runs away, it might be annoying to their, you know, or it might not be, not annoying, but it might trigger something in their brain that they're not liking the sound. So there's that. And there's intricate toys, right? These are like just to twist around, that you can buy just to fiddle with, like fiddling with their fingers, stretching it out, putting it back together. And my all-time favorite are the wigglers, that I call them wigglers, but they're the squishy, you know, type of toys that I honestly, is gonna sound weird, but I go to the dollar stores and look under the pet section, and sometimes they have the little ones with the, I don't have one today, but they have a lot of little like strings that, you know, you can pull, and they wiggle. I call them wigglers. And or the ones that have the foam in it that you can squeeze, right? They're very soft, the texture, and it could just be something that they can use to soothe, you know, self-soothe, or a specific texture that they might like. Some of the blankets have this type of texture, and it can be very soothing just to, you know, run their fingers through it. The texture can bring comfort, you know, to their bodies. And it's just very simple. You can buy, if they love a specific blanket that has this type of texture, very soft, very silky, you can buy some of these toys and just, you know, have them in your pockets or in your bags. You know, if you're in a store, you're having a meltdown and you need something, you know, fast on the go, this could be a great tool to bring it out, because you know the child loves the texture and they just need it. Or if you're in your session and you have a breakdown, but the parents already told you, oh, they love this texture, then you bring the toy out that will self-soothe them. They can play with it, they can hug it, they can pet it, right? And I have just different types of these textured or foamy tools, because I like that they're either different shapes, or they could be fruits and vegetables, and we're using it. Oh, these are the ones that have the little balls too, little I forget what they're called, but they almost look like boba. But again, you squeeze and you can see the colors, right? And either fruits. So it's self-soothing to the child, but I'm still working on, oh, you want the mango? You know, and we practice on making requests maybe, or just labeling the fruits and saying squeeze, right? You squeeze the mango, squeeze, right? It could just be very simple. But again, these are just tools, a little tiny intro video to some of the tools we can use in our therapies, or if you're a parent and you want to discover what works for your kiddo, when we're talking about just some sensory needs, you can again find these I found at the mall. Sometimes the malls have really cute toys stores, and if you look through I'm always looking through the toys, toys aisles, and you can find these at the 99-cent store too, basically anywhere, or you can, I'm sure, buy them from Amazon as well. Such a great resource for us and for the kids to just have a little tool, a little intricate toy that they can use to self-soothe or to calm themselves down. Once again, this is just a very short intro video to some of the tools you can use to help your child with autism self-soothe, self-regulate, or calm their bodies down, bring some balance to their bodies if they're overstimulated through their eyes, through the sound. Oh, through the sound, I almost forgot. Through the sound, there's really great headphones now that are available that cancel out specific sounds in general, sound cancellation headphones. And I will under the link, I would put some of the labels that I've heard that are very common that you might want to look up and see if they work for your kiddo. So those would be for like sounds, if the sounds are too loud, or just be aware of the types of sounds that affect them and that trigger them. And once again, maybe if a sound that you're out in the store and you can't tune it down, you can't shut it off, but maybe if you have a specific texturized toy that will help them soothe while they're processing that sound as they're moving through an area, could be also such a great resource to know. These again are just basic video on just introducing the concept of sensory processing. And once again, it could be through the eyesight, through what they see, through the ears, the sounds they listen to, touch, right? Tactile stimulation, and just a small introductory to, or the smells, right? All our senses, or the sense of smell, smelling specific smells that they might like or dislike. So we can be just aware of these things and understand our little ones. Again, it's not a one-size-fits-all. We have to be proactive in understanding each child as an individual and providing the best support systems that we can for them, and do our research as we come across our little ones. Once again, I work with early intervention, so most of the stuff that you'll see here is going to be geared towards 1.5 to 3-year-olds, but I'm sure that some of these things will also help older children as well. Thank you again for watching, and once again, this was just a short introductory video on some of the little tools we can use, or some of the tools we can use to help our children with autism. Thank you.